So today we're going to be doing the do, aka we're going to be looking nice and luminous. I'm going to be showing you guys tips on how to get nice luminous glowy skin that is long lasting. I have worn this makeup before and it has lasted 8 to 10 hours. If you want to learn how to get some glowy luminous skin, just keep watching my face. Before you do anything with your face, wash it and moisturize it and put sunscreen on. Okay, if you are oily or combo skin, I would recommend a primer before I start with the first step. I would recommend the Etude House Face Blur. It has a sunscreen in it and it actually, foundation applies really beautifully over this. If you don't want to use something with SPF, Hourglass Mineral Veil Primer is really good too. I really like that. So our first step, we're going to be using a makeup primer spray. So I'm going to be using a Scandinavia one. This is going to give our skin a bit more moisture and it's going to make our skin last all day. If you have normal or dry skin, you're going to really like this. You don't need to use a primer if you have normal or dry skin, and put it all over your face. That's it. Alright, so next we're going to be applying our foundation. There's several ways that you can apply it. You can use a beauty blender. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be using a foundation brush and I'm going to be spraying it with MAC Fix Plus so that the natural bristles in this brush don't absorb all the foundation, but also so that the Fix Plus kind of not only shears out the foundation a little bit, it kind of adds more moisture back into the skin. So I'm going to be mixing a tinted moisturizer with whatever foundation I have. I think I'm going to use my Chanel one today, but use whatever one you want. If you have a foundation that has a heavier coverage, I would just recommend mixing moisturizer with it. A moisturizer will not only shear out the coverage, it will kind of bring some more moisture back into it. If you have oily or combo skin, maybe just tone down the tinted moisturizer a little bit, but even then I feel like this will be okay. You could just powder during the day. I have my foundation kind of all over the back of my hand, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of dot it all over my face. This is how I usually apply my foundation anyway. Just like I said earlier, just kind of spray it. Okay. And another thing I like to do is I kind of like to dab my foundation brush on the back of my hand like this. I always put too much MAC Fix Plus on my brush and it's I'm just going to dab some off. Okay. Alright, so we're just going to start like this and buff it out. Also, if your brush starts to get a little dry, just re-moisten it, because we don't want to be without that moisture. With any excess foundation I have on the back of my hand, I usually just kind of put it under put it under my neck like that. I don't want to waste what I mixed, so I want to use it on my neck. We're kind of all done there. You see how whenever we do the MAC Fix Plus, we already are starting to have a glow already. Alright, so the next step after foundation is of course concealing, and I'm just gonna kind of put the concealer on the spots that I want to cover. After you put your concealer on, so to blend it in, I'm actually going to use my foundation brush and put a little more Fix Plus on it. So what this is going to do is this is really going to meld the concealer with the skin. It's really nice at kind of blending it into the foundation. If you dab the motion I'm doing right now, all the coverage will stay, but your concealer will blend in just right. Under eye concealer, what I like doing is with kind of the inner portion that's on the inside here. I like to take a small brush like this. This is the Dulux Crease brush by Real Techniques. I like to put a really small amount Fix Plus on it and just kind of dab it on the back of my hand, and then I like to go in and blend it out right there, just for that portion, just because my actual foundation brush does not fit in there. And then with the rest of the stuff here, we're going to go back in with our foundation brush and a little bit of Fix Plus. You see a theme here? We're using a lot of Fix Plus here. You can also use water in place of Fix Plus. It's not going to be as long lasting because Fix Plus has glycerin in it, so it kind of helps the foundation stick to your skin and just everything stick to your face basically. Alright, and now that I kind of have eye makeup done, let's move on to the next part. Okay, so what order you do this in is kind of what you want to, I guess, emphasize more. So we're going to be applying a cream blush and a cream highlighter. What I personally am going to do is I'm going to start with the cream blush. I'm going to be using a NYX cream blush in Rose Petal, and with all cream blushes, I always dab off the excess on the back of my hand. This makes sure that you don't apply way too much. Apply it in the area that you want. And the good thing is, if you dab it on the back of your hand, you could just pick up more from the back of your hand instead of going back in the pan. So we're going to do the cream highlighter. If you have oily skin, I would maybe skip this depending on how glowy you want to be. Since you have oily skin, throughout the day, your oil's gonna just, you know, obviously be produced from your skin and it's gonna show up. So it's up to you what you want to do. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm literally just gonna apply this to my skin. If you want to apply this more naturally, just use your fingertip on the actual product, but I'm gonna apply it directly to my skin. So I always like my highlighter in the back of the cheekbone right here. Whenever I go more towards the front, I feel like it emphasizes skin texture more, so it makes you look like you have worse skin, in my opinion. I'm gonna just apply it right here. I'm gonna apply a good amount. So, you see how we already have that? Once you start blending it in, and we're gonna blend it in with our finger, because the warmth, the heat of our finger will just kind of help spread that product. See, we're already getting a nice little dew. I'm going to apply a little bit on my nose. I'm most especially going to do this on the Cupid's bow. For some reason, whenever I apply powder highlighters on my Cupid's bow, they always go away. So this will help ensure that it stays in place. The face products I'm going to be using are Hello Waffle. I love their face products in general. Their blushes are really good and their highlighters are to die for. Alright, so I'm going to be using, with your blush, choose your blush depending on your skin. If you have oily skin, I would go for a more matte blush. For normal to dry skin, I'm going to be using one with a bit more shimmer. That will give my skin a bit more of a luminous glow. So today I'm going to be using, for my blush, I'm going to be using Hello Waffle Cosmetics Junebug. Also, the brush you choose for blushes, if you use a goat one, it's going to deposit a bit more color. I'm going to use a squirrel today because I already have a cream blush on and I kind of want to go a bit lighter times. This blush is pigmented, so I don't want to kind of, I usually overdo it with Hello Waffle blushes because they pack a little bit of a punch. Alright, so I'm going to just swirl the blush in the top of the container and just tap off excess, and then as you can see, the blush is kind of nice and luminous there. Because of our cream blush, it kind of helps with that luminosity. And next is the highlight. This Hello Waffle highlight is pretty intense. So if you don't want as intense of a highlight, you could just stick with the cream blush, or you can use a less intense highlight. I like the Hourglass Incandescent Light from the Ambient Lighting palette, or what's that called? Or Anastasia Sand Highlighting Powder. So I'm going to be using the Hello Waffle Golden Veil Highlighter. Let's do this. Alright, so I'm going to just, same thing as the blush, just tap stuff from my lid and then just kind of set the cream highlighter with that highlighter my, that's intense. All right. And we're gonna also do it in the nose as well. And I'm gonna do it on the tip of my nose. And then I'm gonna be applying the powder highlighter with my finger to the Cupid's bow. If you have oily skin, definitely powder. I would use a powder like the Innisfree No Sebum. This is kind of like the Laura Mercier one. If you want it to last longer and you have like normal skin, I would use Hourglass Dim Light. I love it. It's very luminous. It makes your skin look fantastic. And the last step is a finishing spray. If you want to be more luminous, use MAC Fix Plus. It will not last as long, but it will be more luminous, and if you're going for that look, do it. If you want something to last a bit longer, I am going to use the Scandinavia makeup setting spray. I have the bridal version, and just kind of, you know, spray it. I hope that this tutorial was helpful. You got some tips from it. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.